Today we are doing some displays right here in the village. The event is called Coton Village in Bloom, and it's kind of like a bit of a coronation celebration, as that was yesterday. Today is the 7th. This is the first time this new marquee is going to be used. I bought it at the end of show season last year, so it's never even been used yet. We've just been using cheap, unbranded, grey, horrible marquees. So it's very nice to see a proper big branded marquee put up. And then we've got our flying arena over that side. We've got a half-hour display to do today, which is not very long. I think we're only going to fly a couple of birds. But until then, we've got to get everything else set up and ready. So with the Falconry Fair out of the way, the next big event for us is Highclere Show.
Like all events, we started Highclere with test flights of all the birds, a day early. All seemed to go very well, apart from one particular falcon of mine picking out the one single dog on site and deciding to start stooping towards that dog, which was interesting. But we got through the test flights, all done, all fine. Highclere had a really kind of special moment. And it was quite a nerve-wracking event for me to do. Even though I've been doing displays for the last 10 years, I was quite nervous. And the reason for that is it was Lincoln, my 1-year-old bald eagle's first ever public display. So we've been doing lots of work at home, training going well at home, but this was his first display on show to the public, so I was really kind of nervous for him.
And here with me, I've got quite a heavy bird. This is Lincoln, and he is my bald eagle. Careful, Lincoln. Don't start making me nervous. Now Lincoln is a bald eagle. Many people have come over to our weathering and had a look at him today.
When he first jumped to that perch off my glove, I instantly got even more nervous because that was it, he was off the fist. Although he was on a training line, he was then off the fist. He's a strong bird, anything could have happened. But then once we got into the flying and he really kind of just settled into it, he was doing exactly what I asked when I was asking. He was even trying to beat me to it. So he really helped me to relax. And the rest of the event was just such a joy and a pleasure to do. I was so happy with how Lincoln's first ever public displays went.
Put them on this training line just to start off with, just to get them used to being in the arena in a more controlled environment. When Lincoln is completely trained and fully fit and an adult experienced bald eagle, his displays will be very different to what you are watching at the moment. I could potentially have this bird for the next 40, 50, even 60 years. They can live a very long time. So it's really important that I start his career off in the right way and make sure that an arena is a very positive environment for him. About bald eagles, whilst we let him drift around in the air for a bit. But then, the big payoff, the big finale, will be when I put food on this perch. You have to let go of him. Let go of him. The big finale will be when I put food on the perch and we all get to watch an American bald eagle diving all the way in from thousands of feet up into the air, all the way down into the arena. And so the full scientific name of a bald eagle is Haliatus. I've not got anything, no, wait. Okay, right, well I don't have any food out. Yeah, okay. So whitetail, so the full scientific name of the bald eagle is Haliatus lusocephalus. So Haliatus meaning a white tail, luso meaning white, and then cephalus is meaning head. And that is called a sub-adult, so he's currently a juvenile, then he turns into a sub-adult, and then a little bit lighter brown. And so, there are different opinions on why they are called a bald eagle.
He did so well, and I'm so proud of him. And I'm immensely proud to be able to say that my bald eagle's first ever public display was at Downton Abbey. Sky really struggled at Highclere. I think it was just too warm for her. Being May, and there was no breeze whatsoever. It was blue skies, glorious sunshine, and I think it was just a bit too hot for her. So we kept her display really short, but she still flew around, did some lovely little flying, a few passes to her. She came under the trees at one point, which was really quite cool to see. Not what I was expecting from her, but it was nice, interesting, shows something a bit different.
She's a gerfalcon crossed with a lanner falcon. Now the ger is a large white ant species. Careful of that perch, and that's what gives her these white colours on the white chest. And the lanner is an African species, and that is why I am able to fly an Arctic species in a climate like this, because she's got that African part to her. That was sneaky. So, she's really struggling. I think I might call her in a second. You can see her beak is cracked. Now, it doesn't mean it's actually cracked, that's just how we describe it when they open their beaks and pant. There you go, I know that was close. That was a struggle, wasn't it, Sky? So I was hoping to get a bit more from her, but the weather is not on her side. Oh, a lovely round of applause for you, Sky. Thank you. Always kind of looks a bit like a struggle, but I'm sure one day we will get there. One day when she works out, she goes above the trees, and she can get all the lift, and then it will make it much easier for her to stay in the air a lot longer. But for now, I'm afraid that's all we're going to get from Sky.
When we do these events, we're in front of the public all day long, every day long for 2, sometimes 3 days, so it's really nice to occasionally find a bit of just relaxing time away from everybody. So usually do that again by just sitting and relaxing with one of the birds. This time it happened to be a Hansi, one of the golden eagles. The arena at Highclere, half of it is like a copse of woodlands, a bunch of trees just right in there in the middle of the arena, and it makes it a challenge to do the displays. Not everybody can see you at all times. You've got to try and make sure you make your way around the arena so that everybody can see the birds and see what's going on. And for the most part, with most of the birds, we just tend to ignore the trees and try and work around them. But it offered an interesting way to show some more natural flying styles with Sway, the Eurasian eagle owl. So we decided that we would fly him under all of the trees through the middle of the arena to try and show off how these birds would sort of hunt and fly in the woodlands in the wild.
Look, food here, that's a good boy. He's dropped right down to the ground, and they're good. Good boy. Well, at least he's on the bird. That's his safe place. Oh, that's it. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you very much. That's a well-deserved round of applause. Well done, down Mercer. Oh, everyone watching that? This is cool. So this is potentially courtship behaviours. Sway, please can you ignore them because you don't like them. But yeah, what we're doing there is potentially courtship behaviours. It's kind of like a little aerial display for each other. So they gain height on the thermals and get nice and high, and then they will sort of stoop and dive towards each other. And this is to try and impress each other, saying, look how agile I am, look at
Now, when working with animals, there are many really good times. But there are also those times where we have to face and make some difficult decisions. And after Highclere this year, I had to make the decision to rehome a few of my birds. They've not entirely disappeared. I still technically own the birds. And they have gone to a friend of mine as a sort of temporary housing solution, but we just don't know how long it's going to take for them to come back to me. So the three birds that have had to go is Patsy, one of the Harris hawks, Barry the buzzard, and Harriet the peregrine falcon. This decision came around because of a surprise inspection that happened whilst I was actually at Highclere Show. My licensing officer turned up here to my house where all the birds are kept whilst I was away, and Josh had to let them in and have a conversation with them. And basically somebody had made a complaint about me. Now, looking over the whole sort of list of complaints, it's obvious that none of it is true. Just silly little things, saying things like the birds are not given baths, but then contradictory to that, apparently weeds are growing in the baths. They complained that weeds were growing in the aviaries. They complained that the travel boxes were filthy. All of this is just so untrue. I clean and replace those bird baths every single day. And all of those boxes are pressure washed before and after an event. So it was just lots of silly little complaints. The council had to bring in an expert to do this surprise inspection. This expert I spoke to on the phone afterwards also said it's obviously just a case of sour grapes, and he disagreed with every single complaint that was made. But one of the complaints were that some of the aviaries are not big enough for the birds. And I think it's very easy to get so engrossed in what we're doing and the plans and the work that we're doing, and you follow yourself down this path, and it's very easy to become complacent with regards to welfare. And so just over time, without really realising, my collection of birds had grown, which meant the housing was getting smaller because I couldn't expand on onto any more land. I just had to deal with the space that I had. So I made the decision that best thing for my birds would be to rehome a few of them so they can go off-site to a place with much bigger aviaries, and I will do a load of work on the aviaries I have got at home to give all of my birds the best houses I can give them. But for now, I don't know when I will be getting those 3 birds back. Animals are always interesting and unpredictable at times. And one bird that was determined to make my life more difficult this show season is Peggy the Harris hawk. Almost every display that we did towards the start of the year, she decided to leave the arena and go off and do her own thing. So at Clifton Campville in June this year, I decided to put her back on the creance for her displays.
Good morning everybody, welcome to Clifton Campville Country Fair. My name is Dan from Mercer Falconry. Now if anybody was here last year, just give me a quick wave. Yeah? Okay, so some of you may have seen this hawk already, and if you remember last year, she was very naughty, and she decided that she didn't want to stay in the arena for me, so some disciplinary action was taking place. She is on her final warning, but for today, just to make sure that she stays in the arena with us, I am just going to put her on a training line.
This was also another one of Lincoln's displays. He'd done a couple very small events in between Highclere and Clifton Campville, but Clifton Campville was kind of his second sort of bigger type of event, and just like Highclere, he handled it so perfectly well. I was so pleased with him once again.
Please enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your evening, and now thank you very much for watching.
Well, thanks very much, Dan.
BBC got in touch and asked me for an interview. Lincoln decided to go for a wander.